Hello everyone, and today I'm going to be teaching a little bit about home design. So, this will help improve your houses or any build you might do, hopefully. This doesn't include all of the things that you can do, this just includes some that I was able to come up with. So first, roofs are very important to your build because they will kind of tie it all together. Bland walls will make it look kind of sad. Even if you have access, even if you're just playing in survival, just having a bland wall might not look the best. If you have access to creative, it's definitely a no-go, unless you're going for a very bland or specific style. So let's look at a few. So this is the most basic one I see for homes. This is basically built by having a few staircases, and all you do is this. You do that, and then you do an upside down one. Not like that. And you just do an upside down one. This one, pretty basic, but gives off a very homely vibe. Next is kind of a wizard tower or castle kind. This one looks pretty good in bigger builds. On smaller builds, you can see it just doesn't really have the same thing going for it. I had to add a few backwards stairs for this one because it definitely is lacking when it comes to smaller builds. So this one, it's just a combination of staircases and normal blocks, and you can add in a few slabs if it's on a bit of a bigger build, just at the top to make it a little bit more shapeful, I guess. Next is this kind of weird roof design I came up with. This one could be used in an attic or such. This is the one that we saw at the beginning with a few blocks, with 3 blocks here and a few slabs and then blocks at the end as well. And then just staircases along the side. And then in the middle, you can see it's just blocks. And yeah, it looks kind of good for an attic. Next, I like using this one in more deserty or jungly builds. This one is more of a slanted and kind of messy roof. Normally have support pillars, just to hold them up, and it looks a bit better. This one is a combination of slabs and normal blocks. This one I see in a lot of starter builds. This one is just staircases wrapped around your build. This one, it looks okay, but it is quite bland, and I would like to call it the witch's hut type of roof, I guess. Next, we want to move into some of the designs that you can do for your builds. So, definitely try not to be too bland. Also, none of these showcases have roofs. This one, it's bland, it's small, it could do better, it doesn't look too great, it's kind of just wood. The next one, it's also kind of bland, but it has some nice support beams. It looks okay-ish and a little bit detailed. Next, you have the support beams again, but the wood is being kind of taken away, I'd say. So you have bricks at the bottom, your support beams of wood, and then some extra wood at the top. The extra wood at the top is normally optional. It doesn't look too good on big builds with a big roof. Next, it's the same kind of design, but with windows. You want all your builds to have windows unless you're going for an industrial feel. But windows should be used on almost every build. This one just has little this one just has some slabs as a nice little spot to put some pots or lanterns or whatever tickles your fancy. Next, this one's a bit smaller because you can see at the front it is normal, but when you go around the sides, it's a little bit more inverted. This one looks good for a lot of builds. Next, adding shape. Putting staircases and mixing them into your build will give the build a kind of shape. This works a lot better on bigger builds, but on smaller builds you can see it kind of looks like there's just a lot of holes, basically. Next, here's a few quick tips on making the shape of your build. So a square is probably the basic thing you would do. It's the most recognized. It's a good shape, I guess. But it looks kind of bland. If you tried making a house out of this, it would look okay, but it wouldn't really have that pop. Try going a bit zigzaggy on one side, maybe. Or having one side kind of flat and zigzaggy. Next, it's kind of the same, but a little bit less zigzaggy. This one has a lot more tiny spots that you could put beds or chests. Next is the kind of circle-y one. This one is better for builds that feel better circle. This one just has little indents on each of the four corners. Next, try adding separate rooms to your builds. This will help people figure out which is more of the main spot and which would be more of a closed off room or such. Anyways, next is windows. This is the last showcase. A house never really, when you're building a house, it never looks good without windows. Windows are kind of essential. But windows that look like this, and you can see they're just lazily scattered around, they really don't look the best. You can see this doesn't really look very home-like. Again, putting them more orderly makes them look better, but they could still have a little bit more depth. So try panes. Panes can add that tiny few pixels, and it just makes it look a lot better. And if you want to, when you're making more wood type builds, try using more tinted glass. This is just white tinted glass, but I use it for most of my builds, and it does work with certain styles. This one also works well for industrial, I found. So yeah, that was all of the things I have to showcase today, and I hope you enjoyed. Hopefully this can help improve on your building style a little bit if you're just starting out. Thank you and goodbye.